Hi everybody, it's a penny pinching pathologist back again. I did take a couple-week hiatus. It's good to be back. I just wanted to do a quick video, a gratitude video, thanking a lot of the people that helped me start this financial literacy journey. With that, let's chat. Okay, so one of the people I wanted to start off thanking right away, I've mentioned before in some of my videos, I was getting a little depressed when COVID started and not having much control to help my students. So I decided to kind of start a little passion project and understand my own retirement. It's something I kind of avoided looking into. It seemed like the vocabulary was just always out of my reach, and the concepts and all the numbers, 401k, 403b, even the idea of pensions, it just seemed like, okay, it's all out there, but I just don't have the time and effort to put into it. So when COVID hit and I was feeling a little down about stuff, I decided it was time to get educated. So I started looking up things in the library and on YouTube. And one of the first big hits I found for myself that made things click for me was this guy, Brad Finn. And he's gone through a couple different name changes on YouTube. It was like the Finn Mindset, Baby Steps Brad, all these different things. But when I found him, I think it just was Brad Finn on YouTube. And he had a very detailed explanation of the New York State pension and what his looked like. So it made it easy for me to compare my pension to his pension and kind of start to understand what was going on. Because I'm also in New York State, so that was very helpful. Also through his, once I found his channel, I was able to learn a bit about FIRE, Financially Independent, Retire Early, and that whole movement, which I could not believe I hadn't heard of before. So I'm also grateful to learn about that movement, which led me to a plethora of other resources that I just couldn't get enough of once I found out about it. I had already been involved with Dave Ramsey's kind of teachings and his way of thinking about budgeting and retirement. The Budget Mom, I really appreciate her style and her ability to kind of visually put things out in a calendar about budgeting. That's fantastic. So I very much appreciate her as well. When I heard about FIRE and started thinking about retirement more deeply, I went on to a school-based speech language pathology group on Facebook. Again, really thankful for that group as well. And kind of started asking questions about how they're thinking about it, how they're doing it, especially the school-based part of it, because teachers have a whole different system to work with, different options with the 403b and 457 options, and a pension, and HSAs a lot of times. So there's just so many different components that seem like it's overwhelming when you don't understand one, to then be like, okay, well, here's 4 more options to research. So in researching that, I found Dan and Scott, and they co-host the Teach and Retire Rich podcast. Dan wrote the Teach and Retire Rich book, this book here. Very grateful for this. This has been, I have it bookmarked and highlighted, and it's been already well worn to try to understand a lot of those different options. Really just want to thank them. I keep going back to them. I listen to their podcast every week. I went back and listened to every podcast that they had done before. I'm so grateful for the teachers and custodians and speech therapists and everybody out there that has put their story out there for everyone else to learn from. So that has been so helpful through their podcast. And then the people who have come and spoken directly with me through this YouTube channel. I very much appreciate you guys. I've had the very first person I interviewed here was the budget teacher, and he's got his own thing going and he's amazing. I'll link him down below. I appreciate him helping me get started with that very first video also. I had the wealthy custodian come on, who was great at talking about budgeting and talking about just kind of having that mindset of enough is enough, like being able to plan and not feel like you're at any kind of loss, but just live with what you have. I appreciate the Millionaire Educator, who I found on Choose FI, so I appreciate them as well. Their podcast is fantastic. And I heard him a few times on their podcast explaining Really, he gets into the intricacies of some of those 457 and how to use those resources to the best of your ability and like moving districts to make the most use of what you have. And his teachings are just fantastic. I appreciate Grumpus Maximus. He is a retired vet who has an immense, oh, I don't have his book here because it's on my Kindle, but in the way that Dan and Scott are like the 403B guys, I call them the wise guys, the 403B wise guys. Grumpus is the pension guy. Like, he is so good with pensions. I found Choose FI and I found the whole FIRE movement. I started researching different groups that could be community in that regard. And I found the Women of FIRE group on Facebook, and they are just fantastic. They might be one of my favorite groups to be part of right now, as is the 403B Wise group that's on Facebook. Those two are like the biggest wealths of knowledge that I can kind of go to with a variety of questions. Also, through the 403B Wise guys, I learned about NGPF, which is Next Gen Personal Finance, and I did do a video on them. I can't even believe, and I don't understand how their resources are free. And not only free, but they pay you to use them. Like, that is just unbelievable to me. I have taken now 3 certification classes through them, which is a commitment of 5 weeks, 2 hours each week, approximately. And so I did the Investing 1 certification course, the Investing 2 certification course, and now I'm in the Behavioral Finance one. Just so much knowledge, just an interactive nature of those PDs that is great. The ability to kind of network and talk to other teachers in other parts of the country and see what's going on with them and how they're using the resources. That's been such a great resource as well. And they have just random like one-off PDs you can take here and there. And they a lot of times will do like author interviews or author chair kind of things. And, you know, pro tip, go to those. And a lot of times they'll send you, like, I got this book they sent just for going to one of those. Teachers Can Be Financially Fit, another great book that I'm enjoying. When I found Brad Finn, he had talked a little bit about this one, The Simple Path to Wealth. This is like one of my 2 like FIRE Bibles. I feel like I used to rely so much on Dave Ramsey, everything for budgeting. I've kind of shifted as I learned more about FIRE and got into a lot of the research people have done there. I do like a lot of what that movement says as far as retirement. It makes sense to me. But the 2 resources I'm going to go ahead and suggest is like my 2 favorite for FIRE: The Simple Path to Wealth and Quit Like a Millionaire. Okay, teacher specific, I'd go back to Dan's Teach and Retire Rich. Other than that, the community that I've met, the people I've met on these Facebook groups, who are just always there and willing to answer questions and give examples and give you resources, I appreciate you and I thank you. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. And I look forward to coming back with some more great interviews and more great ideas of different things to think about when you're trying to be financially independent, when you're trying to budget, when you're trying to figure out life in schools during this time. Fellow speech therapists, I know we're all banging our heads against the wall trying to figure out how to best serve our students while being masked and not able to physically provide models for speech and language. I'm with you. I'm with you. But, you know, let me know if you have other questions, other things you'd like to see. So it's good to be here again, and I will see everybody again next week.